So in this video, guys, I'm going to be talking the GSXR 750 versus the GSXR 1000, but from a little bit more objective standpoint. I want to talk about these bikes by the numbers. How do they stack up against each other from a dimension standpoint? What about cost? And I also want to illustrate some hidden costs that you might want to consider if you're thinking about moving from a middleweight to a leader class sport bike. So let's dive into it. Dimensionally, the GSXR 750 is smaller. It's built on the GSXR 600 platform, and it carries a wheelbase of just shy of 55 inches. The GSXR 1000 is about an inch longer. Now, in terms of seat height, the GSXR 750 from the factory checks in at 30 inches, where the GSXR 1000 checks in at 30.5. Now, both motorcycles, in terms of weight, well, they're really not that far off from each other. The GSXR 750 with all fluids is 420 pounds. The GSXR 1000, same configuration, 445 pounds. Now, yes, in motorcycles, 25 pounds is quite a bit. But when you consider that the GSXR 750 is both shorter in wheelbase and shorter in height, all of its weight is more compactly carried. Makes the motorcycle feel, with a 180 55 rear tire, a bit more lively than the GSXR 1000 with the 190 55. Now, I don't want to dive too much into the subjective here, guys, but let's just say this. With 150 horsepower coming out of this GSXR 750, it's absolutely no slouch. But you have to remember that the GSXR 1000 checks in with an unrestricted 200 horsepower. Now, a de-restricted GSXR 750 at 150 horsepower is an outright rocket, but it's not going to compare to the GSXR 1000 in terms of outright performance, acceleration. That initial drive that you get is just going to be incomparable because they are so similar in weight, but so dissimilar in power output. Now, what does that mean for the rider in general? Well, the GSXR 750 doesn't have any of the rider aids that the GSXR 1000 has. And quite frankly, I don't really think that it needs them. There is no ABS, there is no traction control. There's barely a rider selectable mode with the GSXR 750, where the GSXR 1000 has a 6-axis IMU. It's got 10 different riding modes, traction control, ABS. You get the idea. You're getting a ton more technology with the GSXR 1000, but you're going to probably want that if you're making the step up and you're not used to a bike with this level of power. The GSXR 750 gets by on nostalgia points. In fact, most people that buy the 750 are buying it because they want an old school riding experience. So in that respect, I guess it's a bit of a toss-up. So let's get into the price of these bikes. The GSXR 750 at the time of this video is going to check in at just at $13,000. And there aren't any real upgradable configurations for this bike. What you see is what you get. With the GSXR 1000, it's going to start off at $16,500, a full $3,500 more than its 3/4 sized counterpart. But what you have to remember here is that the GSXR 1000 gets you in the door for the leader class sport bikes. It's the lowest priced of the entire group, with an average price, I think, somewhere around $18,500 or $19,000. The GSXR 750 seems to be the bargain of the group. But what you get for your $16,500, or I should say your $3,500 more for the bike that's behind me, well, again, you get all the technology that I was mentioning before, plus a ton of power. But for a lot of folks, that $3,500 might be the wall that they run up against, and they might have to either wait or just decide that the leader class bike isn't for them just because of that cost difference. And again, the cost difference can be much greater than $3,500 even within the Suzuki family, because you have to remember there is an R variant of this bike, which is going to check in at about $18,500, putting this bike another $5,500 more than the GSXR 750. See what I mean? GSXR 750 gives you a heck of a lot of value once you start looking at the cost of these bikes over here as they slide up the spec scale. Now, what about insurance? Are they about the same? I mean, they kind of look the same, don't they? They do about the same thing. Well, typically the GSXR 1000, from at least my experience, is going to be about 20% more expensive to insure. Now, keep in mind, wherever you live, your insurance rates may vary, but I think you get the idea. You're already in for a bit of a hit harder if you go the leader class route. Now, what about some of those costs that I was talking about? Those hidden costs that you might not take into account if you are looking to step up into a leader class bike? Well, that's kind of one of them, the insurance cost. But there's some other ones that come along with it. You see, the GSXR 1000 or any of the leader class bikes are going to be very rough on tires. This is one area where, well, if you're not budgeting appropriately, it can kind of bite you a little bit. Where the GSXR 750 is easy on tires because it doesn't have this huge torque hit the way that these bikes do, it's pretty simple to chew up a set of tires in just a few months, depending on how you're riding one of these leader bikes. So just take that into account. And also, guys, remember that either way that you ride these bikes, they are absolute missiles. Keep in mind too that, well, these motorcycles will easily get you to double the speed limit in about half the time that it could take you to realize you're going that fast. So tickets might be a little bit greater with this one, only because they tend to get to a speed that is ludicrous far more quickly and, well, with a lot more enthusiasm than, say, its middleweight counterparts. But guys, look, either way you go, you certainly can't go wrong. The GSXR 750 is significantly less expensive, both from a cost to buy, a cost to insure, and then a cost to maintain. Oh yeah, did I mention that even oil changes are less expensive on the GSXR 750? It holds about a quart less. Anyway, you get the idea. It's significantly less expensive from just an ownership perspective. But for those that have sampled all that is the greatness of leader class dominance, once you've been bitten by that bug, it's pretty difficult to go back. And those that are hooked, well, they don't mind spending the extra money because they feel like there is value there. But with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Let me know what you think. What's the better value for you? What do you think is the better bike? And I will let you go with this parting view of me still working on this thing, getting it ready for its full exhaust. But with that, guys, I'm going to check out. Thanks for stopping by. I hope to see you on the next one.